Welcome to Cardano Over Coffee with your host Brian from Hero Pool, Jenny from the blockchain, Epoch Pool, and co-host BlockJock, CookThyme, and TCT. Today we have our guest, Drunken Dragon Entertainment, where their mission is to create the most epic fantasy universe to experience and share their love of the fantasy world. Sit back with a cup of coffee, relax, and let's talk Cardano.
Let's
Is a
go. I'm
disco.
part of it.
And yeah, there was there's definitely some Final Jeopardy. Like we have timestamps. I woke up to a lot of DMs with timestamps of when the Final Jeopardy questions were submitted from some audience members. So good due diligence. We don't even need Scat Dow in the audience to do our auditing. So that was good. But yeah, we're going to refine it. We got one more in our series of 4, Jenny. And it is a lot of fun. We're going to do a bigger board next time. It'll be sometime in the early part of December before it gets too crazy in the holidays. And if not, we'll just wait till after the holidays. So we would love to do a Cardano Over Coffee version. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is fun, actually. I wish more people knew how fun it was. I wonder if that can be streamed somewhere. Can you stream it somewhere I don't know. It's really fun. I was surprised.
I can guarantee you that if we have a special COC where you three are going at it, that shit will be recorded and posted to YouTube. So please destroy Epoch.
Yeah, we should try to stream it somehow. I think
I will take performance enhancing drugs. I'll let you know in advance.
Oh my God, I heard that somebody that you guys used Lido's picture and somebody said blue shrimp. Oh my, that made me laugh.
Yeah, one of the categories was builders, right? And they showed you a picture of like a PFP and you had to figure out who it was. And Lido, I think he was the $400 question.
What did you say? It was blue shrimp with the answer, or somebody answered blue shrimp?
Somebody said blue shrimp in the crowd. I said Lido Nation, and somebody was like, blue shrimp.
And I will say, Jenny, the best way to keep up to date with all that's going on in ADAO is follow the ADAO Twitter and turn that notification bell on. Not only will you be up to date on all the events going on, but you might even find some interesting, tidbits and educational material.
I just follow Gabe for all my ADAO news, not TCT anymore.
I follow everyone, but I just can't keep track of all this stuff happening.
I can't either. I seriously, I had to turn on notifications for a bunch of projects that I'm really interested in, like World Mobile Token, ADAO, Liquid. I seriously went through and turned alerts on for them, the people who I really, really want to follow along with, so that I don't miss shit. Because it's getting to be too much nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I did. You sort of have to. I gave in.
As much as I hate getting notifications all the time for World Mobile Token or Genius Yield posting on other people's posts, it pisses me off, but so be it, I guess.
What time is our gas coming?
I think the second. I'd have to check, though.
So, can we talk about something that I think has been a little bit controversial? I want to see what people think about it. It's about the JPEG new policy, whatever they're doing. They're changing things for the royalties. Did you guys see that?
I did not, but they are scheduled first guest, by the way. What are they trying to change?
Let me just let me find the post and pin it up before I talk about it.
And meanwhile, while Jenny's doing that, she also wrote up this nice little tweet that everybody should go and retweet out for the show. Yeah, do that. And then also you could put in the comments section why Quasar should have lost the hero pool. Mostly because he cheated.
Good point. Forgot about that.
Wait till he comes in the room today.
Oh, here we go. Jenny with the controversy.
Here we go.
So I actually on the subject, while we're going to talk about JPEG, right, and what they're doing, but I watched Ada Pete from Learn Cardano podcast, and he was talking about it's called Flipper. It's a marketplace that's being built. Kind of interesting on some of the things that they're doing that are a lot different than a lot of other marketplaces. So if you've never heard of Flipper.io, I don't know nothing about them. I haven't done any research. Just putting that out there. Maybe you want to look into them. I thought it was kind of interesting. I got to do more research.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it either, but there's a couple coming out. I know there's Flipper. I know Chatty is part of a team building one called Plutus.art. I think there's another one too, but those are the two that I've seen the most noise about lately.
Yeah, the Flipper.io I saw, they're doing it. It sounds like transaction fees are going to get shared for people who hold their token. So instead of them taking all the transaction fees, there's some of that's going to be paid out. So it's a different model. So definitely interesting. I would suggest maybe looking into it. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if we can get them on the show.
So I pinned that up at the top, and like I know TCT. Maybe I don't know if you can like help explain how does aggregator marketplaces work, so we can understand better what the situation is.
Yeah. I'll go read through it more carefully. I've just breezed through it, and what it seems like is that so now when you interact with JPEG and try to sell an NFT, you deposit it into a smart contract. And normally that smart contract, is just governed by the logic. So it's going to say something like, if this wallet address receives this amount of data and JPEG address receives their fee, then the transaction is valid, right? But now it seems like it also requires a signature from JPEG's backend, which is like their central server system. So that could cause some big centralization issues, right? God forbid they decide not to sign that transaction, or something happens to them and they can't. So that, like I said, I'll read through it and just confirm that, but that's what I gathered just reading it when I first woke up this morning.
Yeah, I've just been seeing a lot of I myself was trying to figure this one out, because it says that you for just selling regular NFTs, it doesn't affect you. But this is about the marketplaces. It kind of seems like it's kind of forcing other marketplaces to play nice with their rules, right?
Right. And so now another thing is the beauty of open source smart contracts is that anybody can build that transaction that, like I said, meets the requirements of the smart contract. So the correct amount of data goes to the seller, the correct amount of data goes to who's ever collecting the fee. But now you can't, right? Everything has to be signed by JPEG's backend. So there's really no point in anybody else being able to interact with those contracts, because they are ultimately controlled by that signature from JPEG's backend, their server. So no interoperability.
Unless you get verified and whitelisted by them or something like that, and you get the keys to the API, and then basically, so it was like a standard, right? So it was like forming some sort of
really,
standard without it.
It's just like that extra check, right? It doesn't matter what you do, they have to approve any transaction. So yeah, like I said, it's not even about just my issue with something like that is it's not even about oh, we don't care, we're happy paying royalties, we're happy following the standards that JPEG wants. But the issue is that's a big centralized point of failure, right? If something happens to that, if they for some reason can't sign those transactions, then those NFTs are now locked, right? And
well, from what I just read through that thread, right, it's only transactions. So if JPEG was to go away and I had things listed there, I could still get them off because it doesn't, and this isn't part of the listing procedure, right? So I think that needs to be made clear also.
Yeah, but then you can't transact. Exactly. It's about sending. So like TCT was saying, like they'll have to send off on the transactions, right? Sign.
Only on purchases, right? That's the only transaction, not delisting or listing. Only on purchases. That's what I'm taking away from reading down through it.
Meaning if it fails to process the transaction, your choice will be to delist.
Right. Like, so you might not be able to purchase it if JPEG, everybody dies on the team, right? You won't be able to buy it. However, as the owner of that NFT, I will be able to go and delist it from their site if they disappeared.
Yeah, I'm still confused about what's happening here with like the whole. Yeah, it's a little confusing. If somebody understands it better, and like come up and wants to share their thoughts on this.
I guess no one cares or understands it right now.
I think so. It's a little tricky because it's about like, the ape, like basically you have to get the API keys. You have to reach out to them, right? So what does that mean? Like that means they decide who gets them and who doesn't, and how does that affect the whole ecosystem of transacting these NFTs? I'm a little bit confused myself. Because right now you can only like list in one marketplace, right? And at a time. Or do they have it set up that you can actually connect and sell in other marketplaces as well? Is that what it is? Kind of
Well,
like that how
No.
SpaceBot's marketplace is?
well, you can spin up, like because the contracts are open source, you can spin up your own front end. But now, thanks to this like new added feature, right? In order to allow purchases, like you said, you would have to like reach out to them, get this special API key, and confirm, that you are going to make sure they get their cut, make sure that royalties go where they want, and all of that. So it's not really permissionless, right? And that's the whole point of this, is so they can make sure that nobody can get around their fee that they're taking and the royalty fee that they're, I think, I'm assuming it's in the front end demands.
What, I got a question. Why as another marketplace would I want to use their API? Why wouldn't I just build my own, have my own royalties and my own fees and keep that in my own treasury? Like, I don't understand why we're centralizing everything to one store. You see a lot of projects coming out with their own marketplace now.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. I think that would be the right path, right? And yeah, I think it's kind of a slow path there, but eventually I think the most permissionless system will win, because that's what everybody's going to eventually move towards, right? As we see more and more issues with the centralization of like marketplaces and stuff like that, I'm sure that that pattern will continue where a lot of people are going to feel the effects of that and then slowly sort of move towards the more trustless and permissionless systems.
I mean, here's my concern, right? Not long ago, I think it was, they used Blockfrost, maybe? Is that, I could be off on that. Maybe they used somebody else. But Blockfrost went down. And you couldn't use JPEG, and JPEG was like, oh, it's Blockfrost's issue. Well, that's an issue that you're relying on one central point, right? And now you're trying to maybe even centralize it even more. It's kind of scary. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but that's how startups are run. You know, like when you start a business, right, you don't have everything you actually want. You have to decide what you build. So we call this bootstrapping, right? You pay some service to like abstract away some whole area of problems so that you can actually focus on the stuff you're good at. So this is something that is very, very, very prevalent everywhere. But you know, I
Yeah, but
agree with you. I
it
agree with you.
becomes
It's
an
single
issue,
points of
right?
failure,
It becomes
but
an issue. I
it
understand
can.
the bootstrapping, but right now, if you look at the amount of transactions on Cardano going through BlockFrost versus other API services, your mind would be blown. You'd be like, well, if BlockFrost goes down, we're fucked. And that's simply the truth.
Nah, I mean, as long as to me, the more important thing is that the transactions are still being processed on the network. Like us looking at JPEGs
Yeah.
is great
But if you go
time
to
filler,
if you go to
but
any D app, they're going through BlockFrost, right? JPEG. All the you're not only thing you're going to be able to do is, and I mean, Nami I think uses them. I don't know if Eternal does. I think Eternal has several servers in different places. But
Yeah.
now you're talking about transactions not going through.
I mean, no. If Blockfrost goes down, like I'm not going to be able to interact with like my MinSwap farm. You're saying?
No, you can if you use a wallet that allows for you to connect to other nodes to make process that transaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, but does the typical everyday user of Cardano, yeah, you, Epoch, and Jenny, and TCT, and probably everybody in here might know how to do that, but it's an issue. And I think comes back to just centralizing factors. And we started with the JPEG, and it sounds like they're trying to centralize things to their store. I could be off base, but it's kind of
I'm just trying to understand, like the whole, like I'm here, like trying to technically like map it in my brain. So, TCT, you know how like I know they used the SpaceWatch marketplace and they added their own spin to it, right? So you know how like are you familiar with Polypeer's like blockchain party games? The Backy
I am.
okay, do you know how he basically brought the marketplace into his game and you can buy
Yes.
SpaceBuds through his platform using the SpaceBuds marketplace, right?
Yes. And he
I'm
did that
just like wondering if what they did is basically put a block in that unless you're whitelisted. Like you can't do that unless you're whitelisted and you promise to pay out what you need to pay out, if that's what's happening or if there's something else. So I'm just a little bit confused on where the block happens here. Because I just don't understand. Isn't it right now like if you list something right now, you can't really list it in other places, right?
correct. However, I believe Mr. Alessandro was saying something about he may have figured out a way around that, but that's yet to be seen. But as of right now, I don't think you can.
Well, yeah, and so sort of, right? So like when you list an NFT on JPEG, it's in a smart contract, right? That's on Cardano. Anybody can see that. And originally that was just validated, like I said, by that logic, right? That this amount of funds goes to the seller, this amount of funds goes to the royalty address, this amount of funds goes to the JPEG wallet for their fee, which is all good, but you're able to spin up that logic, that like fee, I guess, was in the front end, right? So you're able to spin up another front end and only require that the funds go to the seller. But now, in order to do that, like an extra part of the validation now is that JPEG Store actually has to sign those transactions. So they have a server that checks that royalty, that fee, and everything was paid, and has to sign the transaction. So that's the part that you can't do without that special API key.
And now maybe I'm confused, and sorry if this is make me understand. I'm a project. I built my own NFT marketplace. Why the fuck do I need JPEG? And are they trying to force? Is this a way of them trying to force me into using them, or am I totally off base with that thought?
Yeah, it's a way to force that they get their fee, that royalties are honored. So yes.
Sounds more central to me.
Like you have to, yeah, this part is crazy. Like you basically have to agree that this is how you're, yeah, we definitely should have, you said that they're coming? We
Yeah,
have them as a guest, you
no,
said?
we don't. I had somebody with JPEG in their name. I had mistaken for them when I glanced at it. So no, JPEG is not coming here that I know of yet.
Yeah, maybe we should invite them so I can explain this further because I'm just, what you're saying, it just sounds like, I mean, yeah, I just don't get it. It's just, I can't map it. It's like, I need a
I,
graph.
I can't either because like on the blockchain, I don't need permission to do anything, right? If I want to sell my JPEG for no royalties and no fees, I can do that. And I don't give a fuck what JPEG says.
Yeah, and like, can they decide not to give this keys to a competitor marketplace? How does that work?
Yeah, that would, yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to I think the best bet would be maybe to reach out to them and have them come explain it because maybe we're totally off base. I don't know. So
Yeah, we clearly don't understand it so well. So maybe we'll take it as homework. Hi, Drunken Dragon.
Hi, Jenny. Let it here. Can you hear me?
yeah, you sound great.
Awesome. How's it going? What are you drinking?
Good. I'm having coffee with a little bit of Bailey's Irish cream in it, because it is Drunken Dragon Day. So I felt that I had to start drinking early, otherwise I couldn't be drunk all day.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I do have a coffee. It doesn't have Baileys in it. But yeah, still enjoying it.
So we'll wrap this up and then we'll jump right into you here. So if anybody has some inside contacts with JPEG, be like, hey, you should come on Cardano Over Coffee. They have some questions about your royalty thing, and I think it would be good for you to go and explain it to everybody. See, you can help influence us getting people on the show. So I'd appreciate it. Everybody hurry up. Everybody slide into their DMs right now. Be like, hey, yo, JPEG, Cardano Over Coffee's talking shit. Oh my God, you can't believe what they're saying. Oh man, holy hell.
You know, people were already doing that before you called it to action. We find more people pop up in this space than I've thought possible.
The best one was the time you were talking shit on DC Spark and they showed up.
Dude, he showed up in like 1 minute. That was incredible.
And we're not really talking shit. We're just trying to understand what's happening.
Yeah, it's true. That was light on the shit talk there.
Yeah, I just want to understand it because I want to help them. I mean, if it's something good for the community, I want to help spread the information about it, right?
Speaking of spreading misinformation, we have a fire starter on stage now.
Yeah, but the great thing about it is we're about to get into our guests. So the fire starter is going to sit there on mute for a while. So we do have a guest today, and it is our friends over at Drunken Dragon Entertainment, and they are building one of the games that I have a feeling that I'll be addicted to. Just because like my gaming career started out in EverQuest. So this is like right down my alley. So welcome, Drunken Dragons. Who's behind the PFP today?
Hi, this is Lerik, the founder and creative director of Drunken Dragon Entertainment. Yeah, nice being here.
Good having you back, man. How you been?
Yeah, well, it's been a roller coaster, but it's been great. I mean, CNFTCon was really cool. We got to meet a lot of the faces behind, the Discord profile picture or the Twitter profile picture. just getting to be with actual people was amazing. And yeah, and hard at work with some challenges, which we've been, sharing. We've been trying to communicate through, Medium posts or whatever, but still going strong.
Awesome. I think I saw some pictures of you at CNFTCon back when I was FOMOing in. Kind of sad that you weren't at Rare Bloom, but maybe we'll get to bump into each other next time. I won't be at the summit, but next year. There's always next year, right? So why don't, for those that don't know who Drunken Dragon Entertainment is, why don't you give us the little spill of who you are, where you came from, and why here on Cardano?
Definitely. So I founded this company called Drunken Dragon Entertainment, and what we're creating is the Drunken Dragon universe. So what we're trying to do is solve one of the biggest issues we think there is right now in the entertainment industry, which is the fact that our beloved IPs, so let's say Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, all of these fantasy IPs, they're owned by big corporations, and they basically gatekeep creators and also end up taking horrible decisions which fans sometimes eventually hate, right? So there's really good examples, like for example what happened with the final season of Game of Thrones, or Star Wars was 10 years ago was bought completely by Disney, and yet, and especially for me, the biggest one was Warcraft. Blizzard was doing amazing, and I love the universe of Warcraft and StarCraft as well. And Activision bought Blizzard or merged with it, and ended up making a mess.
Hold on, I got a question. What side of WoW were you on? Were you Horde?
I'm Alliance. I'm still am.
Oh my god. You probably played a paladin too or some shit.
I main for a wild paladin, yeah. I'm maining rogue right now.
Are you a skinny lizard now? Oh.
I created one, but it's not my thing, to be honest. Actually, not completely sure about the theme of this expansion, but I'll play it anyway. Let's see what happens. I think that has become like a tradition for me. Like every 2 years, get excited about World of Warcraft expansion, play it for like a couple of months, get disappointed, and then wait for the next one.
I am 30 years old. I've been playing WoW since I was 15, on and off. For like every expansion comes out, I play for 2 months, maybe 3, and I stop playing. I think of the world time, not the world, just in time in general, in WoW expansions. Like my mom fell and hurt herself during like the Burning Crusade expansion, and now ever since then I was like, oh yeah. So well, what year was that? What expansion? It was weird. I'm weird.
No, I completely get you. That's exactly the same for me. I'm a big fan of MMORPGs, and definitely World of Warcraft was like big for me. I was such a nerd of the lore. I really love the lore. That's why I was so disappointed. One of my dreams, because I'm Mexican, right, and I lived 6 years in the Netherlands. So one of my dreams was like going to a BlizzCon. And I remember I was in the Netherlands, I think, back then, and there were like big issues back then with several things. I think it was before the drama with all the the sexual assaults allegations, etc. So I think it was with Blitzchung and the whole Hong Kong issue. And I think they had to like cancel one of the BlizzCon, and I realized that I will never be able to go to BlizzCon, because even if there's one, it's never gonna be the same. So yeah, World of Warcraft is amazing. It just got destroyed by corporate.
Yeah,
and yeah.
I hate to nerd out on the World of Warcraft for all our friends that are in this space. They're probably like, what is that? What are these people talking about? Listen, I got started with EverQuest, so I even go back farther than you, right? Like my MMO starts way back in the day. EverQuest 2, WoW, forever. I didn't know that people still played WoW, so maybe I'll have to try the new expansion. I haven't played in a really long time.
Well, you're not losing from a lot, so maybe you can just give that a try. But actually, this is why I'm creating the Drunken Dragon universe, because I think it will be really cool to use blockchain technology and Cardano technology specifically to give decentralized governance to a fantasy franchise. So imagine the Warcraft universe, or Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, any of these IPs, and then just sharing the IP so that creators are free to do whatever they want with it, and then letting the community decide what becomes canon, what products become official, and let the community create what is great, and letting and empowering the creators to do whatever they think is great, So I'm really hoping to create this universe in which people can fall in love with and make sure that they feel safe, invest themselves emotionally without fearing that us as a company, centralized company, will take horrible decisions, right? Because what we want to become in the future is just another creator of a greater decentralized ecosystem.
So you guys have been at it for quite a while. Can you kind of tell us what you've done so far up to this point, and maybe tell us what your biggest challenge has been up to this point?
Yeah, definitely. So what we've created so far is 3 collections. But besides the collections, we've actually worked on our lore, which we created a wiki-style web page where you can start reading a bit about our lore. Our latest collection has 50 characters, which all have a background and are of Creative Commons and free use. So anyone can actually come and use the art that we've created and create their own stories, create their own products, etc. We've created so far a collector's game called Drunken Dragons Inns, and you can already use our current assets to create a fantasy tavern with it. We're also about to finish in an idle RPG, very simple. We're starting very simple, but if people like it, we'll improve it. Called Idle Adventures. We're gonna release it hopefully in the weeks ahead. And with that, you'll be able to earn Dragon Silver and go into our Dragon Silver shop and purchase more collectibles and assets, furniture for your tavern, and a profile picture collection exclusively earned through Dragon Silver, which are the beverage slimes. So actually, I think our Twitter right now has one beer slime as a promotion. And we're actually working right now, besides the games and the lore, on our first comic, which hopefully will release early next year. Actually, we're really excited about it because it's going to be the first time we actually start creating the first proper stories behind our universe, which hopefully people will like, and we'll take this comic, actually print it, start selling it, hopefully go to conventions, and then tell people, hey, here's our comic, you can read it, but also you can contribute to it. This is the Drunken Dragon, and it's an decentralized open IP. You can take it, and without risking being sued, because you're using our IP. Our IP is open source, is Creative Commons. You can just take it and help us build this ecosystem together and build the most epic fantasy universe there is.
You don't know how I was just looking at your website. I wanted to click on the Play Alpha so bad. What has been your biggest challenge so far up to this point?
Well, I guess as a founder, taking the right decisions. It's been a bit hard in the sense that you try to invest into what you think is the best for the ecosystem and for the company, and sometimes you're mistaken, right? And the company and the community suffers from it, and I think it's been hard to navigate through the crypto ecosystem while having, in the end, blockchain and crypto is just a tool for something, and trying to communicate what is the end goal of the ecosystem, of the company, of the community. Sometimes it's hard because people within the crypto and Cardano ecosystem, blah blah, they come with certain expectations when as soon as you have NFTs or as soon as you're trying to create a game related to crypto, they come with certain assumptions, and they end up, using their real life money with these expectations without really researching on what we're trying to create. And and then when you make certain decisions and people are like, hey, I invested in your project while you're not doing this, and then you have to explain that was not what you're trying to create from the beginning, right? So it's been a little bit chaotic but also adventurous, so it's been fun as well.
So you're playing your own real life role-playing game, right? So
Yeah, definitely, with all the guild drama, so definitely.
Guild raids. I would love to go on a guild raid. They just have so much fun with my friends. Like, that's the community that I can't wait to see in crypto gaming, and see how that changes things.
No, definitely. I mean, for that, we still need to create a fun game, right?
Oh yeah,
Otherwise,
I mean
people won't
we're
get.
years, I would think that we're years away from that, and maybe because my expectations of games are hard, right? Gaming is hard, so nothing ever is going to be easy, quick, and probably right the first time.
No, definitely. And I think especially gaming in crypto has a huge challenge, which is figuring out how this whole idea of play to earn or earn something or own something through NFTs or through crypto adds to gameplay and the fun part, which I think we haven't solved it, and all the proposals I've seen are still a bit doubtful. But yeah, there's one game that actually solves it, and we're somehow trying to do it. But if someone does it, it's probably going to be like a big revolution. But I think it's super hard because the problem with the games is that games are only fun if they are their own bubble. If they, what I think is fun, especially from MMORPGs and games which have this like shared stake, is that you start as in a leveled field. So in real life, there's like these horrible inequalities in which people are luckier or more hardworking, etc. And in games, you simply don't have, everyone starts at level 1 with 0 things, and there's a path to work towards, having a stake within this virtual universe. And as soon as you add or inject um, a crypto or NFTs, you're somehow also injecting the real life economy and the inequalities that come with it. And we've had like a really bad time in gaming regarding that. We already know it as pay to win companies. They normally come and in the pursuit of monetization, they end up creating systems in which you can, with real life money, buy power within the game, directly or indirectly. And then that initial reason why the game was fun, that leveling field is no longer leveled, and then the game stops being fun, and normally those games eventually die, right? So huge challenges, and I'm sad to say that I feel a bit pessimistic about the whole. And I guess this is not a very popular opinion, especially now in the bear market. But to be completely transparent, I feel a bit pessimistic about the whole idea of play to earn, especially me coming from the video game industry itself.
See, I've never thought play to earn, right? I want to physically be able to own my goddamn skin in the game and be able to resell it. That's all I want. That's all I want as a gamer. I want a good game, and I want to be able to, if I purchase a skin or get a rare drop, be able to turn that into a currency, maybe to buy something else in the game that I want. The whole play to earn thing, like you said, it destroys games because people get power and it skews the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I also used to play a lot of League of Legends, for example, talking about skins. And actually, my wife is what she plays the most, League of Legends. And she has like maybe a couple of thousand of dollars in skins and all different cosmetics. And Riot is really doing amazing with the whole cosmetics monetization. I think the challenge, and I agree with you, the challenge of maybe owning and having a second market of cosmetics, which is probably have so some games have done well with it, like for example CS:GO. But the problem is that the incentives are backwards, because a developer has really no incentives to create the secondary market. So, for example, for big games, AAA games, well, first of all, they already have the power, right? So they already have the critical mass of users. So having a second market is having all that money escape their money flow, right? The reason why Riot makes so much money is because they absolutely control the market. So it'll be against all their interest to create the secondary market. And for small developers, I think
too small.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a small thought process.
Yeah, and for the small developers, it's also a little bit challenging. I think I've seen it in our own sale. We actually haven't sold out, or we spent 1 year developing this last collection, The Adventures of Tilden, and one of my bets was if we invest a lot of money, effort, and time into creating amazing art and creating lore behind the art, then we could make like this AAA collection, which will sell amazingly, because in the pursuit of creating a great product, then that product will will sell amazing, and the market proved me wrong because we haven't sold it, and there's like several reasons to it. But one of them was because there wasn't immediately a second market. So what everyone told me is that the problem is that is flippers, right? Like people immediately sell is the assets they purchase from us, and then new users they don't have an incentive to go and buy directly from us, the company or the developers that need the money to continue developing the ecosystem. They buy them cheaper from flippers, right? So that's again the same issue, but for smaller developers, which actually do need the money to continue developing and surviving, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I could see where that definitely is an issue for smaller projects. So you have an alpha out, right? Because you want people to go out and try it, so they go out and buy your NFT. So tell me a little bit about the alpha that you have, the alpha game you have out.
Well, the current alpha is well. Also, we invest a lot into making it as beautiful as possible, and right now it's purely a collector's experience. So think of it as pool.pm, but in steroids. So you can, if you have your Drunken Dragon assets, you can go to the alpha and actually place the furniture and the adventures that you get from us into your fantasy tavern. I built a fantasy tavern, and we will improve this experience through time. But right now, that is it.
Awesome. Where can people? I guess we'll kind of wrap it up. Jenny, Epoch, TCT. Anybody else? Anybody in the crowd have any questions? Feel free to request. No. Yes.
I bought a few gaming NFTs, and one of the reasons why I'm not like a degen or anything. I like to talk to them, but I bought a few gaming NFTs. One of them was like Cardano for Speed, and I felt really kind of burned when they came out with their public statement because I thought it was really cool, but even with the secondary market, if there's no kind of like work on the back end that everyone could show, it's not worth much, I guess. But what's your thoughts on not making like the end product? Because there's so many games in this ecosystem that kind of just fall through, and then it's like once you have this NFT, it's kind of like water, or not water.
Sorry, what was the question? What do I think about all these games that do not follow through?
Yeah, someone purchased NFTs, and it's a funding source for your game. But like Hiro said, games are hard. I bought a NFT, and the company is having financial troubles. So what do you think about creating a game in this space where that's the main source of funding?
Okay, definitely. So what I think is, well, I'm a believer of the free markets, right? And if one is a believer of the free markets, then you know that things that do not work, they simply fail. And if you keep repeating, the same pattern, you just keep failing. And sometimes, in order for something to actually work, you have to slightly tweak the whole system or the thing you're trying to do, right? So I think that if there's so many games that are failing in something as free as crypto, then there's something wrong that we're doing, right? And I think that maybe the whole monetization, a business model of selling the NFTs is just simply flawed, right? And then it's, I know this is not the most popular opinion to have, and I just like to be transparent and say things as they are, because I'm traversing this adventure together with all of you, and we just have to be realistic, right? Because if we do want to actually innovate and create something amazing and great and useful from this ecosystem, then we have to face sometimes bitter realities. And if we're experimenting and innovating, we need to be like scientists. Sometimes when you realize that nature simply doesn't work like that, you just need to keep looking in other places. And I personally think that um, selling NFTs as a monetization business model, as a business model, is is by far not perfect, and 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 I think we need to still innovate in that sense. Um, what will happen with all these games, including us, that have been monetizing through this? I'm not sure. Maybe there's this 1% which does great with royalties, and that's enough to keep developing the game. And within that 1%, there's another 1% which actually it makes it right and makes a fun game, which that's what's the most important thing. If the game is not fun, then the hype and any other secondary reason why people hold the NFTs will eventually fade, because in 5 or 10 years, the thing that will make people hold their NFTs are one of two things: either becomes something actually useful, and there's like a strong reason for you or a strong incentive for you to have it because it's actually useful, or it becomes like fine art. But for the NFTs that become like fine art are probably going to be the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. And the games that and probably a lot of the games that do not pivot to the right model or to the right objective, they'll probably will dry up of funding eventually. And that's probably what happens to a lot of these games, because there's not the right incentives for the developers to continue developing. And that's something I don't want us, Drunken Dragon, to happen to us. That's why we're refocusing on what we think is important about our space and what is the thing that we actually want to innovate on. Even though it becomes a little bit painful to pivot over something that a lot of people still have faith on, and it's hard, but that's the thing with being a pioneer. No one said it was going to be easy to establish your first colony in the new world, right? There's going to be diseases and bears and all kind of all type of dangers, and surviving them is not going to be easy, and not everyone is going to survive. Not every company, not everyone that is in the ecosystem will be here maybe in the next years. But if we do it right, we'll create something truly special. And then that's where the United States came from brave people that actually sticked and actually create something special from nothing. So yeah, that's what I think.
I think that was a great answer. I think that I think we're all pioneers, right? I think everybody that's here right now that survived what this just was, you're now the OG of crypto. And coming from somebody who survived the last crash, I think I can give that away, can I, Epoch?
Yeah, I'll
Did you say YOLO?
Drunken.
I think you just did.
I said, yeah, I'll allow it.
I thought you said YOLO. I was like, what?
YOLO!
YOLO! Drunken Dragon. Anything you want to finish up with for the day, my friend?
I just want to wish everyone to be safe through these times. I think the the meaning of this phrase has changed from last year to this year. Last year was like, please don't get sick, and then this year is like, please don't lose all your money. Um, but um, but yeah, I mean, the economic the world economic situation is not looking super pretty. So I just want to wish everyone to be safe and to go through this. I think the next 5 years, I think in 5 years it's going to be super exciting. We will probably go through this hardship, and a lot of really cool things will come up from it. I think that's what I feel most excited about. All the technology that came out after the dot-com crash, or after every hardship that humanity has had, we come up stronger. And I'm super excited for what will come up from all of this hardship. And I just wish good luck and Godspeed to everyone that is innovating in these moments, because that's from those is that we will get all of this innovation and all of this excitement. But yeah, thank you guys for having me once more in the space, and hope you keep having luck on this.
I appreciate you. I got one last question. You're still doing the ISPO, or is that closed now? I can't remember.
We're still going, and it's going to go through early next year. I think January is the last month.
Okay.
And actually the ISPO it's been amazing for us. We're going to get some extra funding from that, which is critical to continue developing, and will help us push these products that we're developing right now. So yeah, that's still going strong.
Awesome. So make sure that you check out Drunken Dragon Entertainment and all that they're building and up to. Follow them, give them a shout out, look into what they're doing. You can support them by delegating to Epoch. What's the pools? Come on, you know.
It's through Genius X. So we're doing the ISPO. It's a multi-token ISPO. So through the Genius X pools, you're going to earn not just Dragon Gold, which is our ecosystem token, but also from other 4 really cool projects, which are going through the accelerator program of Genius X. So please guys, just check out Genius X in Twitter, or if you search it in Google, you'll find out everything you need to join their Discord, and you can ask us many questions there as well.
You ruined all my fun. I was trying to put Epoch on the spot, but
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I forgive you this time. I don't know. I might not. No, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming. We're gonna I'm gonna roll right into letting everybody know that you should take your funds off of Celsius Network. Oh wait, you can't. So since you can't take your funds off Celsius Network, you should go over to that FTX and take your fund. Oh wait, maybe you should go over to
that one's gone too. Shit.
Maybe you should go over to BlockFi and take your fund. Oh wait a minute. So what I'm trying to get a point across here, folks, is you should take your funds off an exchange, because if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. If I had $1 for every time I said that, and still people store crypto on exchanges, take your funds off.
You'd have a lot of Lovelaces, for sure.
I would. So, since you're taking it off an exchange, and you're going to buy some NFTs, or you're going to participate in DeFi, and by the way, you can't do that unless it's off an exchange. So, again, get your funds off an exchange. Stake it to, you got the 5 token ISPO going on. You got Epoch Pool. You got Hero Pool. Jenny got a secret poll, but shh, don't tell anybody. Don't.
Can't delegate there. So
It's a secret.
Point is, be your own bank. That's the point of crypto. That's been the point of crypto forever and a day. It's not about making gains. Yes, investing in new technology is fun, and sometimes wealth and money comes along with that, but that is not necessarily the primary goal, at least for me. So primary goal is being my own bank. How do I do that? I get my funds off an exchange and I stake it to Lido Nation. Yes, I stake to Lido Nation. Why? Because Lido Nation does a lot of educational material and work. So Jenny, you want to do the Lido Minute?
oh wow, I'm gonna so butcher this, and I'll be glad to do it. Yes, go to Lido Nation. Lido Nation provides education. Oh my God, I am totally butchering this. Um, what is it? Is it blockchain education or Cardano education?
Blockchain education.
Blockchain education. There you go. In plain English, Espanol, and Kiswahili. Um, Definitely the best place to check what's going on in Catalyst. Has the greatest tool. Without it, going through Catalyst proposals will be a nightmare. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. They also have a lot of different articles, and they have a cool feature where you can help them recording with with your voice and reading these articles, and have voice options for others to also play the articles. So if you speak any of these three languages, you can be of service and also help out. So check out lidonation.com for, yes, do it. Lido
Okay.
Nation.
Listen, I was going to clip it because I thought this was going to be funny, but you did it better than Lido, maybe.
Oh
It's
my
not bad.
gosh.
Not
He'll
bad.
be like so mad at me right now. It's like, Jenny. I
Uh,
hear him all the time and I don't know how to say what he says every day. It's just crazy.
You got to end it with, and that's the Lido Nation.
And that's the Lido Minute.
There you
That's
go.
the
Your
Lido.
I'm
favorite
your co-dreamer.
Jenny.
Your favorite
Lido.
co-dreamer. Yes.
There we go. Thank you. There.
For those of you that don't know or maybe new here, we have another co-host who takes Thursdays off. His name's Lido Nation. He does his Lido Minute every day, and it's quite funny when the other co-hosts have to do it. Even myself, we usually butcher it, so it's fun.
But we keep it a minute. He doesn't. So at least we're more truthful to it.
That's true, Jenny. That is true. You're right.
Jenny,
there.
can we take a poll? Can we take a poll about the Christmas Carol thing?
Oh my God. Yes.
Sounds like fun to me. Honestly, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be amazing.
So I'm gonna drop some alpha for the folks that are in this room. Congratulations for being here today. We have this little thing where we sing happy birthday to people when it's their birthday. And it's usually horrible, but somebody said that we should make a Christmas Carol NFT of us singing Christmas carols. What's the thoughts on that?
I love the idea myself, but I love singing.
Can you throw some emojis if you like to hear some carols from your Cardano Over Coffee hosts?
Like Little Drummer Boy, Silent Night.
I hear crickets. Maybe we shouldn't do this, guys.
Are you
Nope,
sure we're not rugged?
I'm out.
I think we're rugged, Jenny, honestly.
I'm
I think
out.
everybody's like...
They're like, what are these idiots talking about?
Okay, ready, everybody? Rudolph the Red... Come on, let's go. You
Have you guys ever heard the South Park Christmas album that came out back in the early days of South Park? It's pretty crazy.
And or the Chipmunk. I can go further than that. Chipmunk, Alvin and the Chipmunks Family Christmas album. Okay.
Oh my God, BlockJock.
They changed the lyrics to everything, and they had Cartman sing Jesus was born, and so I get presents. It's something like that.
I like that one.
We should make TCT rewrite Christmas carols for us to sing, since he's not here.
that's a great idea. And now I want to go listen to those because it'd be a lot of fun. I didn't know they did that. So.
Whoa, yes, and it's hysterical. And we could actually like grab all the guests that we've had throughout the year and like use it for the lyrics. Like throw them somewhere in there.
Oh, like the 12 Days of Christmas or something? Like on the 12.
Where's the listening room when you need the musical talent?
Right? I mean, come on. And Drunken Dragons got me all fired up, man. Talking about Cardano, pioneers, in the U.S. in the beginning with their founding. I'm like, I'm fired up right now. That was amazing.
Good. I got my mute button on fire. So the rest of the show, we're just going to hang out and bullshit. So come on up. Don't be a stranger. You got a question, regardless of what that question is. I'll try to answer it. I might not know the answer. Jenny will probably know it. She knows more than me.
That's not true.
Hey, look, Epoch just left again.
He always like goes. It's like he just disappears. Like manners, Epoch, manners.
I think it's his basement. You know, it's like it's like a black hole there, depending on where he's standing. So.
Well, he does have that supercomputer there, right? So for those of you that don't know,
yep.
Epoch has a supercomputer in his basement. Think of like the 1960s computers. Yeah.
With all the lights and the whirring sounds and the reels. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm surprised you don't own one, actually.
Does he have it? Like, is it working? Does it work?
Oh, that's something Lido, I think.
The big old IBM machines in the beginning.
That was from the early days of Cardano Over Coffee. I think Lido used to tell him all the time, you just have a super machine down there. So I don't remember the story behind it.
Yeah, I think he has it. I just wonder if it works.
Knowing him, yes.
So I found a fun meme video of Charles Matumbo Asin freaking Vitalik. If anybody doesn't know what Matumbo is, just remember the commercial where a guy coming in and smacking down everything that was being thrown at him or thrown up in the air. Dikembe Matumbo. It's hilarious. And of course I connected it to something that Mian is doing with Reddit. So by all means, hit the link if you so choose.
So how old is Cardano Over Coffee now?
1 year, 4 months.
1 million years old.
There's in crypto it's different, right? That's what you're gonna say.
1 million crypto years. Yes.
It feels like it's been 8 years, but it's only been 1 year and 4 months, sir.
Amazing. How many Cardano epochs? No, okay. No, that's great. And then I guess you being in the middle of the conversation in the Cardano ecosystem, how's it been? Like, what's the difference between 1 year ago, 6 months ago, and today?
You're here talking about stuff. We have guests every day, right? And there's just things built on Cardano. There's so much more to do on Cardano. Like right after I am done talking to you folks, I'm going to go over and probably look at my farms to make sure that my yield farming hasn't gone crazy. I need to go to JPEG and see if I sold any NFTs or if I need to buy any NFT. I got to check the floor of Hosky. Like I might need some Hosky NFTs. So like there's so much to do. I spend all day like doing shit on Cardano. A year and a half ago, that wasn't the case. I did the show and then I went to work or, whatever.
Definitely. It feels great that a lot of the things we were picturing 1 year ago, now they're real, isn't it? And then can't wait for the next 2, 3, or 5 years. And then, I think that's going to be pretty epic, especially because, if you think about other inventions, like let's say the television or the internet, like people couldn't quite picture or grasp what the technology was going to be used for. And we probably can't either from from blockchain. Maybe we're like saying, oh yeah, we're gonna use it for this or that. But in 10 years, it's gonna be like completely different and some really mind-boggling things. So I think that's what is most exciting about this space.
For those of you that don't know, I take care of my 86-year-old. Well, she'll be 86 in 5 more days. Happy birthday, Grandma. And if you would come and ask her if when she was a child that she thought that one of her grandchildren would be hosting a podcast over a phone, talking to people all across the world, she would tell you that you're crazy, right? So, and that's only 86 years, right? So imagine another 40 from now. Everything will be totally different. I think humans' concept of time tends to skew a longer outlook of what things are. And I think that's what happened with the internet, right? When the internet first came out, no one could picture what is happening, right? So imagine blockchain in 10, 20 years from now. It's going to be crazy. And you're here now.
Yeah, just think about the personal computer when that came out. Like, why would anybody want a personal computer in their house? Makes no sense. It's meant for business and calculations. There's no need for any other, and then boom, Steve Jobs comes along, Bill Gates comes along, I mean, it's just changed the world we live in. Amazing.
Yeah. So I think that what I'm looking forward to most in the very, very near future, first off, midnight. And if you don't know what midnight is, stay tuned to the summit this week. Second off, stable coins, right? BlockJock, I do not want to hear your jaw yammering. I'll listen to Pyro or I'll listen to Matthew, but not you.
Let Pyro go. He's got it.
The most next important step for this blockchain, and it has been for a long time, and we haven't gotten there yet, is a stable coin. The amount of growth and things that can be built and done when there's a stable coin absolutely changes Cardano. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the near future. Pyro, what says you?
Oh, okay. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Pyro, and this is the snake that surrounds my border. That's Meehan. Quarter 2023. I wasn't prepared for this. Oh my god!
Well, you don't got to talk to me.
I was drinking coffee.
You put him on the spot. He's getting all tightened up. Relax, Pyro. I'm physically rubbing your shoulders right now. Relax. Relax. You're good. Okay. All right, now go.
Tell me a little bit about what a stablecoin does to a blockchain and why is it important for Cardano to get a stablecoin?
Yeah, no. The importance of a stablecoin not only just gives liquidity back into the system, but it also allows for on and off ramps in general for the end user. There's many things that a stablecoin can do, and because we live on the fiat world, it's very important that we have a one-for-one backed stablecoin, that allows you to, one, hold liquidity a lot longer in a project in a down market like this, but also be able to use the blockchain for, personal purchases, and the list continues. So there's so much that a stable coin can do, even for NFT markets as well. If the stable coin is done correctly, we could buy, decentralized markets, NFTs for a certain price, and not have to worry about the up and down swings. Besides, the value of what you pay for. It's a little bit easier to kind of like read. So, do you have any other questions? Because there's so much that a stable coin can do.
Yeah.
Can it help with downside risk, Pyro, at all?
Oh yeah, no, I said that. When you have a pool or My cats are attacking me. When you have a pool or of liquidity in your or treasury of liquidity in your project, and there is downside risk, you'll be able to hold the value of your team or the value of your treasury in a stable coin. So it allows for the companies to float longer and have less risk.
I
And
think I think that was one of the biggest problems that we've seen with NFT projects, especially newer NFT projects, people who've not been around in the crypto scene, was they kept all their funds in ADA instead of going to a stable coin, right? Because there was no stable coin available on Cardano. So what happened to a lot of their treasuries is they just got brutalized, right? Whatever percent we've seen drop, 90, 95, 100, I don't know. But if there was a stable coin available to them at the time of their NFT drop, they could have maybe converted some of that treasury into a stable coin and been able to fund their project. So maybe we may not have seen quite as many failures. Now, we still would have seen the same amount of rug pulls, and you would have seen more down sell pressure on Cardano. And that's one of the things that maybe scares me about a stable coin, Pyro. And maybe I want to pick your thoughts on that. Will there be more sell pressure on Cardano because of a stable coin?
Just as much sell pressure as there would be for Babel fees. I actually think there would be more. The thing is with the stablecoin is that as liquidity to the system. So there, you know, a lot of that money will stay in Cardano. ADA and Cardano are two different things. However, ADA is always going to be leveraged on the base layer, and it'll grow and become scarce over time. So I don't the sell pressure, at least for the AMM pools, will probably be pretty equal. I feel like it's not going to be that big of an issue.
I agree. I just wanted to maybe ask another's opinion on that. I can't wait for a stablecoin, right? I can't trade native assets properly without a stablecoin. I am somebody who enjoys trading. I don't do it a lot, and I don't do it with a giant bag, but I enjoy sometimes gambling $300, $400, $500 after I read a chart and think, oh, this is going to go up, and then it doesn't. But I have to be able to set a stop loss into a stable coin. I have to be able to do that as a trader. And I think that's what a stable coin opens, right, to Cardano that we haven't seen. There's not a lot of traders over here trading native assets. It's a bunch of us trading back and forth in between each other.
And just imagine, Hero, if all these projects that receive Catalyst funding, and if they were able to, if they had it in ADA, the only way they could protect themselves is to transfer it into USD or whatever particular, fiat that they were from their particular country. But instead, they could have just transferred it into a stable coin and let it sit there. Because ultimately it did develop sell side pressure because they had to sell that ADA in order to ensure that they protect against the downside risk. So
that could even like for centralized dexes that sell back into the market with the big pools, like probably Binance wouldn't do it, but I'd imagine you would want to do the same thing too, or like DeFi, just instead of selling back out into the market straight through the exchanges, it won't hit the exchanges as hard. We won't have ADA flowing in there. It would just stay into the system, which would be a lot better in the long run.
Big time.
Go ahead, Regan.
Hey guys, I was just going to add a couple of things on this stablecoin topic. So we're not just going to get one stablecoin, to my knowledge. In the next 6 months, I think we're going to get 2 or 3. I know Indigo's coming out with one, and then I know Jed is scheduled for Q1 of 23, I believe. And then there's another one.
There's Mihan. There's Liquid.
Yep.
X.
Liquid was what I was thinking of.
There's probably actually not just 4. There's probably, I think off the top of my head, I can think of about 6.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's more than I even knew about.
Can I add that that diversity for stablecoins is super important for any treasury? Like we want the algorithmic stablecoin, the fiat-backed stablecoin, the synthetic stablecoin. We want every single. We want all the stablecoins as a just because it's less risk for us as a Cardano.
Can I
The
say something
treasury.
real quick, Pyro? Just great point. Why is there less risk? Because if I have all my funds in DJED and DJED fails, not saying that it's going to, I'm just hypothetically, I'm fucked. But if I have some in DJED, some in Mihan, some in Indigo, some in Liquid, right? Now I only lost a portion of my stablecoin. So less risk.
Exactly. And the other side of
And
that
then
is having to do with pairs and the fact that in your principal, say you have an ADA, stablecoin pair, your risk of IL is much less because of the low volatility of a stablecoin. The only one you really got to pay attention to is the one in the principal. So, these things are all things and tools that you would use for trading that we absolutely need. But yeah, we're kind of standing on, it's a 3-legged chair currently.
you know what one of the best farming pools to be a part of is 2 stablecoins.
Well, and I think that whenever we still are on the topic of stable coins, we need to really look at their credentials whenever they publish them. I think that some of the most important things to look at is that, number one, their code is open sourced, so that way anyone can audit it. I think that another important thing is over collateralization. We have to have over collateralized assets. I don't even want to use a 1-to-1. I want something that's 1.2 to 1, something along those lines. I want something that is incredibly secure. But that's just me. Obviously, everybody would do their own thing. But whenever we're also talking about liquidity of stablecoins, I think that a lot of the off ramps from stablecoins happen whenever like Tether or USDC or something like that get put on these big exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, etc. And then that's where your off ramps happen. So if in the meantime, while we're just talking about it on Cardano, none of that money is really leaving Cardano. It's staying in the Cardano ecosystem. And so we're just using it on DEXs. We're using it to preserve downside, I guess, or mitigate downside and just mitigate risk overall. So I think it's a good thing, but I think we also need to, number one, manage expectations. Number two, stick to the fundamentals, make sure they're open sourced, make sure they're over collateralized, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. So there's that. But the importance of a stable coin, I think, changes the dynamic of the Cardano ecosystem completely. So that's
it. Here, it also bring in bigger players, which is the other side of that. So DEXs that are holding a large pool of a particular stable coin, then we'll play with the arbitrage surrounding it. So typically a stable coin will, if it's a good one, will stay in between, I don't know, half a full basis point, right? So about 0.50. You want to travel back and forth. It may go out of that a little bit more, but that's okay. But the idea is then for these bigger exchanges and holders, they can then play on the arbitrage of that, in between 0.98 and, 1.02, let's say, or something like that, And these are all, will bring in larger players into our ecosystem as well, because then there's that, playground that they can jump into.
I am so excited that the stable coins are going to be native assets. EUTX are native asset as well. Like that is that is the most beautiful thing I think Cardano has, is the fact that it's not just smart contract based. You don't got some C in an ivory tower pressing the button and saying F you. Like we have a native asset that works just like ADA. That'll kind of like, go through the system, and once it leaves the Mihen wallet that you minted in, just this one, just Mihen, anyone, Jed, you know, USDI or whatever it is, once it hits your wallet, it's a native asset. It can go anywhere.
No, it can't go anywhere. You just send those to Hero Pool. Money sign Hero Pool.
Hold on. No, that's not right. It's money sign BlockJock now? Come on, man.
Don't
I
send
second
anything.
money sign Pyro Panda, but third time is not as funny. So
No, it's always the first one, sir. It's always the first one.
Hey, and the other real cool thing will be is that if you have an on-ramp that will go straight into the ecosystem, right? You can bypass the centralized exchange that currently right now this is not in favor and doing very well, and you can just drop right into your favorite, layer one, and I mean, how cool is that? So I can't wait for this stuff, man. It can't come soon enough.
DeFi or RealFi, I should say, depends on it.
can I ask Drunken Dragon, if he's still here, what he would do? Can I ask you what you would do, Drunken Dragon, with a stable coin? Would you buy assets on your game in market with a stable coin, or would you do like a Babel fee? It'd be kind of like any asset, or yeah.
He's not there. Haha.
Damn.
I got my buddy Subcritical to come up though. He's like my DeFi guru. If I need to know anything DeFi,
Yep.
Subcritical.
What's up, Sub?
Hey, what's up?
What up, dude? What's going on with stablecoins? What rumors have you heard? What's going on? I know you know a lot more than me because you're tapped into that.
Yeah, so the main thing I'm focused on today, obviously, is Indigo is coming out next week. So I'm going to be doing a space right after your space, talking about stablecoins and IUSD and kind of how to use Indigo and what the risks are.
Son of a bitch.
So yeah.
Perfect timing. I didn't even plan that.
Nice. I kind of knew, but I figured you'd.
I didn't. I had no idea. Go ahead. Continue. What are you going to all be talking about?
Yeah, so we're just going to kind of go into what synthetics are, talk about it a bit. We'll mention, IBTC and IUSD, so we'll kind of go through that a little bit. And then we're going to kind of break down all the terms that are kind of used here, because a lot of this is very confusing to people who are kind of new to what's going on there. And then just some of the risks of what the collateral risks are, what you're actually doing. I think a lot of people don't really think about it as you're kind of shorting stuff sometimes, right? If you're converting all your ADA into these IUSDs, you're kind of expecting ADA price is going to go up eventually, right? Then you're just kind of holding it in these tokens, and then you can switch those back out and get your ADA at a later date. There's also things, right? If you think BTC was going to go down, I mean, there is still risk, right, with ADA going down, but you could provide collateral, get some IBTC, go trade it on MinSwap, wait till price goes down on it, buy it back, go get your ADA back. There's things you can do that we're not really thinking about with it. A lot of the times you're thinking, I can just kind of hoard, all my money in one spot. Well, now we got these DeFi things we can do with derivatives, right? Because there's a lot of derivatives going on, just around the world, right? There's bonds and stocks and all this stuff getting traded around. So it just opens up a new possibility for people.
Man, I need to come to your space and learn how to do this stuff. No, I understand a little bit of it, but I'm definitely coming. Or you're recording this one? Please record this one.
Yeah, I'll record this one. I don't know how I ended up not recording the Mihen. I think because I changed the name right before it started to hype it up, and then the record thing unclicked somehow. It was horrible. I was real sad about it.
That's what you get for being a hyper upper.
That means you owe us another. We got to come on again.
Education is. Oh yeah, definitely. I think education is key, right? Because in some cases it seems almost counterintuitive, like what Sub's saying surrounding certain ways of, protecting yourself or looking to, create a call option to where you're buying it at this price and then you can sell it back at the higher price. And in some cases it feels like, if you think about it, 1 + 1 = 2, it's not the way it really works. And it feels counterintuitive. So education is key in order to be really. The other side of that is so you don't get wrecked. jumping in without knowing what you're doing into these things is not a good idea.
I get wrecked all the time anyways. Gold Rush, how are you?
Hey, maybe I missed it, but I was curious. What time is the subcritical space?
It is right.
Yeah, right after this.
All right, I'll see you there.
In fact, I'm going to kick everybody out of here. I wish there was a way for me to kick you right in the subcriticals room, because I would.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll add that eventually, like on Twitch, where you can go like host somebody else. You just like bring all your people right in there. That'd be pretty awesome.
Because
that would be cool.
They wouldn't
Like
even
migrating a space into another space, that would be dope.
Yeah.
Elon, save us!
Yeah, somebody tweet Elon about that.
He's working on it. Remember, he's hiring a whole new set of devs and writing an entire new code base simply for Twitter. He's getting on it. Same guy that landed the rocket back down on the ground, I think. He's going to be ready to go for that.
Hey, Sub, do you know what midnight is?
I've heard something, midnight, something.
Midnight, something. I like that. That's what I heard, too.
Brian's a tease, but at the same time, he doesn't know what midnight means either.
I specifically asked not to be told so that I could play this role right now. I want to know, but I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
I don't like that.
Want to know?
Sub, don't you want to know? I want to know and then know, but not tell everybody everything. That seems way better. Give them little tidbits, breadcrumbs.
If I'm disappointed with this announcement, I'm taking a week off of Cardano Over Coffee. So be prepared for that, because I've been so disappointed by their announcements in the past. So next week I may not be here.
Hey, I thought the New Balance announcement was pretty cool, to be honest. And the one with BMW is actually something that should be really nice, so.
When's Charles talking at Edinburgh? Because I know there's supposed to be some announcements starting there.
It's this Friday or something like that. I mean, I can't remember the date now. Shoot.
I know it starts today, that conference, right? There's a if you go to IOG, there's a sign up for the virtual conference that's going on right now, and I know Charles is talking there, and there's supposed to be some type of announcement there before all the announcements for the announcements at the summit.
Like in the virtual one, you mean?
There's a virtual of this one too. It's not part of the summit. It's a whole different thing, but it's also virtual. You can go to.
I just pinned up at the top again the virtual one for the summit. For those who are not going to the summit, they want to participate, you have to sign up to be able to enter the virtual world. So if there's one for IOG, I should probably look it up and pin it up there.
There is, Jenny. I'm not on a computer, or I would do it, but it's IOG in Edinburgh, and I think there's a fest. I think it's IOG Edinburgh Fest or something like that, where he's going to be announcing something. So,
funny part is I know what he's announcing there.
All right, I pinned to the top for the virtual event if you want to register for it, the virtual Summit Lodge. So I think they'll have like an NFT like virtual display. You can walk around and look at some NFTs and things like that. I'm not really sure what else they're gonna have. I did see the Alps are like behind it, and somebody had like commented, and they're like, the Alps are not behind this event. It's like, well, it's the metaverse, so I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we can do what we want. God,
I do what I want.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. Jesus.
They should have like a giant like husky just like walking around in the background or something. That'd be pretty cool.
I can't believe Hosky is talking. I wonder if he's going to talk in the suit or if he's actually going to dox himself.
He won't dox himself. He'll be talking in that suit. He's stuck with that suit.
No way he doxes himself. He won't even dox himself on Space Place.
I know who he is, and most of the people on Space Place know who he is.
Right.
So, but I mean, I get why he doesn't want to be doxxed, because he does not. Like, I wouldn't want to be somebody as popular. Like, truthfully, I mean, let's be honest. He leads engagement on Cardano. He wouldn't be able to go to a summit or something like that. He'd probably get swarmed, and it would suck.
Probably so. Yeah, he's definitely made a huge impact. I mean, whether that was him with his cash grab NFTs, his suits at conferences, Bonepool adding his image to a freaking NASCAR hood, and number one at all that. And I think that turned into like the Cardano car almost, because I saw Adam put in a CNFT Con logo on the back as well.
Yeah, and I think the foundation reached out to them. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw a tweet from either IOG or the foundation saying, "Hey, please reach out to us. We'd like to, talk." I don't know if that ever happened. I would have to talk to Bone, but I
hope so. It's stuff like that. Like the community's picking up where Emergo should have been involved in my opinion, but it is what it is.
I really think Emergo was just a showcase for what companies should do on the blockchain.
Here's what I have to say about Emergo, right? If it wasn't for them, we would not be here. It's as simple as that. Second, stay tuned because something's about to drop in that front. But I don't think that it's what they should
done.
Drop on that front, good or bad?
It's good, but it's not as they should be way more involved than what they are.
Agreed. Are they getting more involved? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Good. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to know anything that I shouldn't. I was just, as long as it's good, it's in the right direction, then we'll find out when we find out.
You got to talk to BlockJock. He dropped them secrets on me.
Hey.
Give us the alpha,
Take
BlockJock.
it easy. I can't do it. Sorry.
I'm
kidding.
BlockJock would forget any alpha if he knew any.
That's true. I'm 57, so it happens. Sorry, I'm making a bunch of noise here.
He'll give it to you all wrong.
He'll ask you what the alpha is so that he could go buy all the NFTs.
I'm like, wait a minute. What did I say last week that was the alpha?
Oh, we're talking about Lucid, and you're like, what's the play? And I'm like, dude,
how do I
Lucid.
Hey.
Is it an unpopular
I knew
opinion?
Lucid was a tech.
Is it an unpopular opinion that I think that Emergo didn't want everyone on Yoroi for long periods of time, or an unpopular opinion that Daedalus is just a full node and wasn't supposed to be anything more than just a showcase wallet? Because anytime I bring that up, people just are like, "Oh no, Emergo should be doing 100 times more." But is Emergo really supposed to be the end all be all for I know it's supposed to be a Cardano standard, but I hear Charles talk about decentralization. I know Emergo's not decentralization, or Emergo's not Charles, but I really feel like that's what it feels like sometimes is the case.
Emergo is Ken, and without Ken's funding and direction in Japan for the ICO, we would not be here. I thank Emergo. Yoroi did its thing. Stay tuned on that front. We'll see what's going to happen here. Come back and we'll talk about this next week.
Yeah, my first wallet was Yoroi, so that's what got me on the network.
Oh, there is the Yoroi days. I don't know how people can hate so much on it. I don't understand that. Just don't use it.
It just remember though, it stopped working. It was having a bunch of problems. They didn't iterate, and they just kind of slowed down. It's almost like they just forgot it existed. Almost, it was weird.
Well, you got to remember that the two people who built Yoroi from the ground up left. Right, they went to build DC Squad.
Sebastian, yeah, right.
That was a big gap to fill for that team, and I don't think that they ever filled it. I don't think
they filled it yet.
I think
what happened is that they didn't believe that NFTs were a thing. Nobody in IOG, I think, except for Joshua, he keeps saying he's the only one that did, which I do believe that. But nobody believed in NFTs, so the focus was on DeFi, and that's why those wallets just remained they were totally developing in a different direction, and they missed out. And then that's really what happened. I mean, they were focused on the wrong thing.
When Lace?
Yeah, and NFTs blew up big time.
When Lace?
That's a good question.
I've heard a couple of people that played with it. I don't know.
I got to check it out when I was at
the reviews.
I just know that
since Rare, Jenny.
What?
Sorry, Brian. Since Rare, Somebody got to play with it?
Yeah, recently. That's some I guess, I don't know who gets access to it or not from, testing or whatnot, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully just when it comes out is decent and whatnot, but we have so many wallets that are already adopted, they're community wallets.
Yeah, and I agree with that. However, the user interface on most of them isn't mass adoptable, right?
I don't think they're gonna come out with a mass adoptable either. Honestly,
but that's my hope.
Well,
I think
Brian,
we just get there. I mean, we're not mass adoptable as a whole. I don't think it's a wallet thing, and I think that by
Jenny,
the time we get there as an ecosystem, or wallets will also evolve with it.
When I talked to the creator, his main objective is to make it so that it's so simple that anybody can use it. It was definitely, in talking to him and him explaining it, and I asked him, I said, well, so this seems like something that would onboard anybody into Cardano. And he goes, that is the goal. We want something that's going to be easily usable and intuitive from the beginning for anybody that's just a starter that had some limited computer experience or web experience and be able to use it immediately, and so.
And that's great. I hope it happens. I mean, like I said, I didn't test it myself, so I wouldn't be able to tell you whether that's true or not, but,
He
I
walked
know.
me through it. So I got to see everything. It looked really cool. I got to see, I just loved the way everything informationally was given to me, and it was very simple, and there wasn't a lot on it, so it didn't look complicated. Kind of like when you're looking at Eternal versus NAMI. NAMI's a very simple UI. Eternal's a much more, complicated one,
So is it like an in-between kind of thing, or what?
Yeah, and it was just visually just so much cool. It was freaking cool. I loved the way the NFTs popped up, the way you could look at them. When you scrolled your cursor over it, it would highlight and it would make it move a little bit. They thought about a few things that would just make it a little interactive, but at the same time, relatively easy to use. And you couldn't get really lost because there wasn't a lot of, options for it. So, it was good enough, but it's not Eternal, obviously. You're not going to be able to do all the extra things that Eternal can do and all the settings and things of that nature because they're really not needed for somebody that's new.
Is this something?
Yeah, that's not mass adoptable.
Is this
Right.
Is this something that's going to have plugins? Because it sounds like they want like a modding ecosystem to customize Lace. That's what it sounds like from the video that I saw from IMX.
He said that when I talked to him, he goes, Charles has he starts talking about something he's thinking about with Lace. And Charles goes, okay, let's get that done. And he's like, I got 5 things on my list already, really big ones. And he's one of the main guys creating that particular wallet and organizing it all. And, it's a lot to do, So at that point, I go it sounds like you're going to need more developers. And he goes, we're working on that now. So he's got a lot of funding behind him. And I think Lace is going to be an extraordinary thing for onboarding people, to be honest. And who knows where it goes from there,
One stable coin.
Soon. Q1 for me, and so.
It sounds like next week by Subcritical, but I got to go to his space to learn about that. So
does sound like next week for IUSD. Yes, it does.
Do we know if Lace is gonna have a mobile version when it comes out?
It's going to be a while, he said, for that. It's going to be only on your laptop and things of that nature first, and then from there to be mobile. But mobile's down the road.
Yeah, from whenever I was talking with Alex about that, he was saying that the issue with mobile is that they were also wanting to have a dApp store, and so trying to work around the whole iPhone thing as well, with Apple getting a cut of everything. And so that was something that we talked about for a little bit at Rare Bloom.
Midnight. No, I have no idea.
And you guys remember when the video came out for Project One? That was Charles, because he was like, light wallet. We need a mobile wallet. With mobile, it'll be amazing. We'll go everywhere, right? And Project One came out, and they talked about the dApp Store, rating SPOs, changing the way the rating system was going to be. looking at NFTs in an entirely different light. I think that was the nexus of it. And then he finally found somebody that actually could create that. And that's, is that his name, Alex, the tall guy that you met?
Yeah, Alex Appledorn. He's the
Yeah.
head for Lace.
Yeah, good dude, man.
He's
Absolutely
also
love
the one
talking
that
to
set
him.
up the ITN for all the stake pools.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he just sent Charles an email a few years back, and he was like, "Hey, here's my experience. I'd really like to join your team." And Charles was like, "Yeah, come on in." And so like that's how he got hired on. That's crazy.
Nice. Yeah, in talking to him, he's got that demeanor that nothing's a big deal and nothing will overwhelm him, and he'll just plow through it. It was really cool to talk to him.
Anyhow, I need to ask a burning question, and it's going to be for all the speakers. So everybody, be prepared for your answer when I come to you. BlockJock.
There's cream for that, just so you know. I mean,
You're going
come on.
first. You're going first.
Great.
What mobile wallet do you use, and how often do you use it?
So right now I'm using the Flint mobile, and I use it irregularly, probably once every 3 to 4 weeks when I need it. I used it for CNFTCon to cruise through there and buy stuff if I wanted to, stuff like that. But that's about it.
Thank you, Jenny.
I don't really use mobile wallets. I do have the Eternal one. I downloaded it for CNFTCon, but didn't really use it. I still have Euro installed. If that counts.
But you said you don't use it, so that's fine.
I don't really use it. I use my computer. Yeah.
I want to get a consensus. Subcritical, don't think that you can get away. I saw you leave as speaker. You need to DM me your answer, or I will be very sad. Matthew, you are next. What mobile wallet and how often?
I use Eternal, and like daily.
Pyro, what mobile wallet and how often?
Eternal, and I don't use it daily, but I use it quite often. But I want Flint to actually a DC Spark to actually give Flint its flavors, because they have a lot of work and a lot of Milkomeda stuff to do on it. I wish they would get up and prioritize some of their mobile wallet. But Eternal.
Regan.
I use Flint and Eternal, and I use them about, I don't know, every 2 weeks or so. Not horribly often. I keep most of my stuff in cold storage, and then whenever I want to trade NFTs, I use Nami on my computer.
Gold Rush.
On the computer, I use Eternal, but on my phone, I kind of enjoy Yoroi because it has like zero functionality. And like the phone itself has so many, you got Bluetooth and you got all these things that could theoretically be hacked. I kind of like the fact that my wallet doesn't really allow anybody to do anything. You know what I mean? If they did get in there. So that's the only reason I stick with Yoroi on mobile. I know that sounds retarded.
Do you ever use the send all feature from Yoroi, or do they still have that?
That's what I think it's the best for. I use it for that.
I was just about to say the same fucking thing. I was like, that's the one power feature I like on Yoroi.
So that's funny you guys are saying that. Whenever so I just did an interview with Kyle and Anthony from Drip Drops, and they were saying that whenever Drip Drops first came out, somebody sent them a million ADA and all their NFTs.
I remember that. Yeah, that was crazy.
And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, the good old Yoroi send all button. They just did that, and they just sent it all to us. And then we had somebody reach out and say, hey, I accidentally sent you everything I have. Is there a way that you can send it back? And they're like, give us the transaction ID. And they looked into it and they're like, oh yeah, sure as hell you did. Let's send that back like right now.
I know, but some people did that to exchanges. Imagine.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh, probably did happen. I never had that thought.
So many people
I don't
that
like that button.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Go look at some of the exchange receive addresses.
You have berries, you have space, but back in the day, a lot of people did that at the beginning when people were just transacting for the first times. Oh my goodness, that send all button was crazy.
So I've been using Flint, and I like the mobile. I don't use it very often. I use my desktop more than anything, and I use every wallet out there known to man. So if it's on Cardano, I use it. Epoch.
Like I test them, but I don't use them. You know.
Oh, I use them. So Epoch, what mobile wallet and how often?
Maybe once a quarter, and Yoroi.
Excellent.
The thing that I absolutely love about the mobile wallet is that you can. It has great NFT visualizations.
I could barely hear you, Matt. You sound like you went away.
Is this better?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So the thing that I love is that when you can look at, and the NFT visualizations are great. And if you have any audio NFTs, so if you have like music NFTs from those guys that do that, the musicians in the community, you can listen to the songs in the wallet, in the mobile wallet on the NFT. So like, I absolutely love that. And that's the one thing that I tried Flint for a bit, but it doesn't really have all those functions.
No, I don't use Flint for like all my NFTs. I do on like my mobile wallet is for like very random. Like I might have one or two NFTs in there, but that's for like when I went to Rare Bloom. I wanted to take some ADA with me, so that's what I used. I don't use it very often. I don't trust mobile wallets for whatever reason, so I don't know.
That's because you shouldn't trust shit. You should join me in the skepticism. Trust nothing.
It's all going to break. In fact, you know what's going to break? The show here in about 1 minute. So with that being said, Jenny, anything you want to finish up with?
Go to Subcritical. Is that what our next stop is?
Next stop is Subcritical's DeFi space, talking about synthetic stable coins that are coming onto the Cardano blockchain next week. Son of a bitch, next week? Cardano doesn't even have NFT, and we're about to get synthetic assets.
I'll believe it when I fucking see it and when I fucking use it.
If the question is, Epoch, are you going to use it right off or are you going to wait?
I mean, of course I'll use it right off, right? Like, let's swap some Hosky for some stables and see what happens. You got to test the fucking network.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that that next Twitter Spaces event, because I hope they really dive into the difference between a wrapped asset versus a synthetic asset.
Well, ask. I'm sure Subcritical will definitely answer that, or at least whoever else is there. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. We're Cardano Over Coffee. We're here Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard, 2:30 UTC. We had Drunken Dragons as our guest. Please go to our link tree. We have a new YouTube. Please go subscribe. We post the shows there. I don't care if you watch them. I would like that you watch them. But if you're not here, that's a place that you can go and listen to our guests. But go subscribe. It'll help us. I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, subscribing will help us greatly. We definitely will appreciate that.
It's fun to watch on your smart TV while your feet are up with your nice little slippers on. I like it that way, with a cup of hot tea.
Everybody go to Subcritical Space. His Twitter Space is coming up right now. Subcritical. Epoch, go take your daughters for a walk.
And shovel snow.
Everyone. Happy Thursday.
See you, bro.
See you tomorrow, guys.